Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guest today is Andrea Barnes, the CEO and founder of AB Funding, and also the host and founder of the Give. So, Andrea, welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being on your show.
I sort of muffed the wonderful title of your summit. Tell us the title of the summit.
Okay, the title of the summit is The Giving Principles Global Nonprofit Telesummit Investing in Human Solutions.
Okay, so it is a mouthful. You have to grant me it's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
But it's
yes,
going
it
to
is.
be a great event. An event of such importance needed a name that was robust. So that's great. So when is the event? When does it start?
So the event takes place September 12th and it runs through September 30th. And it's long. It sounds long. And each speaker is interviewed, and each interview is released one a day for those 15 days of the event.
That's great. And you've got some really pretty amazing speakers. I'm honored to be on your list. Thank you very much for including me. That was so much fun. And also, you've got one of my favorite people is Jean Oldwang, who is the president of Virgin Unite. I mean, she's a rock star.
She is a rock star, and Virgin Unite, the reason why I love them so much is because they are taking a corporate model and making it do good around the world. And I think that corporations have a very unique place in our society. And when they turn their attention to doing good, that extraordinary, and I think Virgin Unite is one of the best at doing that.
Boy, I think so. In my visiting with Jean, really a powerful commitment at Virgin to do good, to have a positive impact, and it's exciting to see that. Not just a token corporate social responsibility program, but a real passion for making a difference. So I think Richard Branson's commitment to this is great. Who else is going to be on the program?
Oh, well, a couple of, I love every single one, and each person was chosen because the purpose of the event is to, one, showcase what world-class charities do. What is the work that they do? How do they have demonstrated impact? What is the work that they do towards sustainability? But the second half to that is, what is their fundraising story? What is it that they do that's unique that helps to fund their success? And so each person on the Telesummit was chosen to help tell that story. So I have Lynn Twist, who was one of the original fundraisers for the Hunger Project, and now helped to co-found the Pachamama Alliance. In addition to that, she's the author of a book called The Soul of Money, and because of that work, she's trained literally 100,000 plus people all around the globe in raising money, and she is part of our summit, and I'm so thrilled for her. Michael Nebeker is with Operation Smile, and the reason why I love him is he's absolutely fearless. He is enthusiastic, he thinks really, really big, and in his interview he challenges our listeners to think big and to not be scared of what it is that they're doing. A person who I just met very recently is Scott Neeson, and Scott is the founder of the Cambodian Children's Fund, and he has a fascinating story because in 2003 he was the president of 20th Century Fox and the productions, and so he was involved in every one of the biggest kinds of movies that you can ever imagine, including the Titanic and other movies like it. And he was taking a sabbatical on an adventure trip across Southeast Asia into India, and stopped in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. A friend of his took him out to the municipal dump where he witnessed up to 2,000 people who were living on the dumps, including hundreds and hundreds of children. And he said what you can only imagine is the most tragic and horrible of circumstances, and it haunted him. It followed him for the next 4 months, and he says, I'm not going to do anything rash for 4 months. but he went back and forth between America and Cambodia for 4 months. And by the end of that year, he had sold everything that he owned, quit his job, and moved to Cambodia, and has dedicated his life ever since to building what now is ranked one of the most highest ranked charities in the world. 100% scores on Charity Navigator. He's been ranked #2 international humanitarian, #1 education. And so he's done just such amazing, extraordinary work. He's very humble, super smart, and he shares very generously what it is that they do and how they do it with our listeners.
Wow, that's an amazing story. I can't wait to hear that. Well, Andrea, you've been working on this for nearly a year now. How did this idea come about?
Well, actually, it came as almost like an idea, a bolt out of the blue into my head. My husband and I were skiing, and when you have something that comes to you so clearly, it's something that you think you should probably act on. So by the time I got off the ski slope, I'd called my first speaker and said, hey, I have this idea. And then I kind of, just played with it. I said, well, if I can get 10 speakers, then I'll put this thing together. And by about mid-March, it looked like it was really getting they're really they're a consulting company, and what I do is in helping organizations to more effectively raise money, and also to help train entire teams and groups of people within their organization, so that the value and the purpose of raising money is actually considered mission critical and mission aligned. And so this, to me, this event really serves that purpose for people who I'm here to serve. I really want this to be something that all of the team members can participate in, board members, executive staff, directors of development, volunteers, anybody who's raising money for an organization. And really, because every single person who's participating is volunteering, that this event is free. And so we've made it so that this barrier is completely open, and there's no barriers to participation. And so that's really what the idea was. I thought, well, if I could gather 15 of the world's most recognized, most respected charities, and ask questions for all of the people who are listening, as if it were they who were asking the questions. What would they want to know? What would help them in their work? That's really what the genesis of this is. And so this event is so great. You're not sitting in a room with 500 other people with the speaker on the stage. Really what you're doing is it's a very personal experience, a lot like what you and I are doing right now, where the person who I'm speaking with, whether it's Cassandra Verbruggen with Spy Hop, or Kathy Burke with the Hunger Project, or Beth Wolfer with Best Friends Animal Society, they're speaking to you very personally. Their advice is very candid. They're very generous in sharing exactly what it is that they do. There's real world case studies right there for you to hear. They share their best secrets about donor relations. I talk with, there's a lot of people who have really kind of brilliant information about mindset. How do you prepare yourself to go and speak to people? And how do you have those transformational conversations where a person feels like they can make a transformational gift? I really have never heard anything like it. I mean, I've been going to fundraising conferences for 30 years, and I am learning more about how to really do the work in an amazing, amazing way. And so I just feel super, super blessed that everybody said yes, and that we've got this thing up and going.
Well, it is just a wonderful event, and I'm certainly honored to be a part of it, and thank you for including me. So how does someone register to participate?
Okay, so it's very easy. The website address is www.thegivingprinciples.com, and it's PRINCIPLES, that kind of principles. And when you get on that landing page, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, I have a little video there. There is a schedule with all of the speakers, and there's just registration buttons right on that site. An exciting development happened this week with it, and that is an organization called that you can earn a fundraising accreditation through this organization. And if you go through their process, you become a certified fundraising executive. And they've just approved this course for 9 points towards continuing education and towards that accreditation. So that's a wonderful seal of approval. And for people who are looking for that, this is an event that makes it super easy for you to attend and to qualify for that accreditation.
Well, fantastic. Well, Andrea, you are really a role model to a lot of people. You've been raising money for a long time. You're a genuine expert at nonprofit fundraising, and that's something to be really proud of. But at the same time, I wonder who you look up to as a role model.
Well, I will say that my donors are my heroes. There's something about the process, the transformation that someone goes through when they make a commitment, where they step from being either a customer or slightly interested to somebody who becomes your partner. And so as much as I've loved all of the causes that I've worked for, which are, wonderful schools and hospitals and international humanitarian organizations, arts organizations, it's really the donors who inspire me to be a better person and to do the things that I do. And then I have to say that with this Telesummit, I have 14 brand new role models. You included, Devin. Kathy LeMay is another who's just incredible. But that it's people who really decide that they want to commit their lives to changing the world, to making a difference, to improving their communities, to impacting even the life of one person whose life is changed because of the work of the charities. So that's the thing that motivates me. That's the thing that keeps me engaged as I continue this work. And so I just have to give a shout out to anybody who is out there who donates, and not only their money but their time. I really, really admire and appreciate you.
Well, I admire people like you who've devoted their entire careers to doing good and making a difference. I think all of us understand that it's important that someone do that. Why did you feel like you were one of the people that needed to do that?
Well, actually, I would call myself an accidental fundraiser. And I think that actually who I'm meant to serve are accidental fundraisers. I had the opportunity to obtain a master's degree it was a program called Arts Administration. So it's a little bit like an MBA, but geared towards managing arts organizations like symphonies and ballets and theaters. And so the very first position that I was able to land after graduate school was as the director of development for a local theater here called Pioneer Theater. And so I had taken a class in fundraising and a class in grant writing, and that was the extent of my experience. And so I really got thrown into it. And there's a funny story, but I have a boss who didn't know anything about fundraising, and he said to me, Andrea, I don't know anything about fundraising, so don't ask me. And I was 24 years old, and I had to raise a very significant portion of the budget for that organization. And so I think that there are a lot of people who find themselves in that role. I don't think that most people are thinking, hey, I'm going to become a fundraiser. Maybe they're thinking astronaut or doctor or teacher or something like that, but fundraiser, no. And so that's who I love, and that's who I want to support, are people who are in that role, and I really want to take care of them. I really care deeply about their well-being, about their motivation, the things that help keep them moving in their work. Because when I was talking about that mission-aligned concept, is that without fundraising, there is no mission. And so I just am a super advocate for saying it's not just something that you do, but it actually is a critical aligned component of your organization.
Yeah, well, I hear that. Now, we ask all of our guests, Andrea, for what we call an impact hack, something that would help us to do more good in the world. What's your impact hack?
My impact hack. Okay. So I would say understand your passion and seek to make an impact. So do some research, figure out what you care about, women and girls, medical care, education, creating young musicians that are ready to service in the next generation, whatever it is, international humanitarian work. Really figure out what you're passionate about and be deliberate, not accidental in the way that you support it. If you accept an assignment to become a volunteer, don't do it halfway, don't be scared, but really go out and be purposeful in the way that you're going to make a difference in the world. So that's not a word or a hashtag, but.
That's great. That's great, Andrea. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Before you go, tell us again how people register for the event and how they can get in touch with you if they have questions.
So the event is located at www.thegivingprinciples.com, and we also have the Giving Principles page on Facebook, so you can find us there. And then if you want to reach out to me, I also have, we're on Twitter at giving_Andrea. And so there's lots of ways for you to reach out to me, and we would just absolutely love to have you register. It's super simple. There's a button on the website. The event is free. And we also invite people, if they love what they're hearing, that they have an opportunity to own the collection of conversations as well.
Fantastic. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for being with us today. We wish you every success with the summit.
Thank you so much, Devin. And thank you for being one of our really terrific speakers.
All righty. Now let's do some good.
Okay.